I read Emily Andrews' latest piece this morning and felt the familiar tight pull in the chest that comes when someone puts into plain words that you have been circling for years. Harry looks, she writes, like a man without a purpose. He has the mansion, the wife, the children, the freedom he once insisted would set him free. And still the face that show up on screens is the one that seems permanently braced for the next blow. Last month's trip home made it impossible to ignore. He lands in Britain already defeated in the privacy case against the Daily Mail, staring down costs that could run into tens of millions at the Invictus event he should have owned. He looked nervous, almost stunned. There was the usual security thutter. Would he come? Would the family come? Then the quiet revelation that they did safely without the full gun cap package he had demanded. Even the long desired tea at Highgrove left him sounding flat. Andrews noticed what so many of us noted. The man who once lit up rooms now seems to carry an invisible weight that no amount of California sunshine can lift. The part that stays with me was the podcast moment asked for his occupation. Harry offered full-time that British Army veteran, Prince of England, Duke, and Andrews gently flags the historical slip. There has been no Prince of England since 1707, but the slip itself is revealing. He is reaching for titles and identities the way a man in the dark reaches for furniture. He remembers being there. He wants the old shape of himself, the soldier, the prince, the son, while simultaneously having spent years dismantling the very structures that gave those roles meanings. That is the heart of the search. Andrews' name so clearly. Harry is looking for a version of belonging that no longer exists in the form he left it, and that cannot be reconstructed by force of will or public narrative. He misses his family and his old friends. That much is obvious and human, yet he has spent the better part of a decade treating the British press, the judiciary, the government, and the monarchy itself as permanent adversaries. You cannot wage that kind of sustained campaign and then expect the old doors to swing open with the same warmth. The longing is real. The path back to the thing longed for has been scorched by the person doing the longing. I keep thinking about purpose. Andrews is right that he appears to lack one that feels so light. Royal life once supplied it, however imperfectly. Military service once supplied it. Even the early Sussex project Invictus, the foundation work, had a clear outline. What remains now is a shifting mixture of protective fatherhood, selective public appearances, and the endless management of a personal brand that seems permanently on the defensive. That is exhausting work. It is not the same as having a North Star. The cruelty of the situation is that the thing he appears to be searching for, some subtle sense of who he is and where he fits, cannot be delivered by any of the tools he is currently using. More interviews will not settle it. More legal battles will not settle it. And partial return to Britain, if it happens, will not settle it either, because the internal argument has not been resolved. He wants the recognition that comes with being a prince without the constraints that made the title coherent. He wants the closeness of family without the institutional reality that family still represents. Those two desires pull in opposite directions, and no amount of California real estate or carefully staged content that can reconcile them. Andrew ends on a quiet note of sadness. She is not sure he ever will be truly happy because he is searching for something he is not going to find. I recognize that assuming it is gloating. It is not even particularly political. It is the observation of someone who has watched a man keep walking towards a horizon that keeps receding at the same pace he approached it. The mansion is real, the children are real, the residual titles are real, the relentless is also real. And the restlessness of the depth does not dissolve simply because the external circumstances have changed. Harry has everything he once said he needed in order to be free. The question Andrews forces into the open is whether freedom was ever the thing he was actually missing from the outside. It looks more and more like identity. Stable and conflicted rooted identity was the prize, and that particular prize is not for sale in Montecito, nor it is waiting in a Highgrove garden after years of public estrangement, some searches, and only when the searcher stops looking in the wrong places. Right now, Prince Harry still seems to be looking.